Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. A soft breeze carried the scent of blooming jasmine through the open window, filling the air with its sweet perfume. The gentle hum of traffic from the street below provided a constant backdrop to the scene unfolding within the cozy apartment. "I can't believe I'm actually going through with this," muttered a deep voice tinged with equal parts excitement and trepidation. Seated on the plush leather couch, James fidgeted nervously, his fingers drumming an erratic rhythm on his thighs. His dark hair fell in messy waves across his forehead, partially obscuring the worry lines etched there. Dressed in loose-fitting jeans and a faded t-shirt, he cut an unremarkable figure average height, average build, average looks. But all that was about to change. "Oh, come on, James. Where's your sense of adventure?" Monica's lilting voice carried a hint of playful admonishment as she perched on the arm of an adjacent armchair. Her copper curls bounced with each animated gesture, green eyes sparkling with mischief. "It's not every day you get the chance to experience life from a completely different perspective." Patty, sprawled across the floor with her chin propped on her hands, rolled her eyes good-naturedly. "Monica's right, you know. Plus, it's only temporary, remember? 24 hours and you'll be back to your old self." Her practical tone belied the curiosity evident in her gaze as it flicked between James and the small, innocuous-looking pill resting on the coffee table. James ran a hand through his hair, his expression a mix of conflicting emotions. I know. It's just, what if something goes wrong? What if I get stuck like that? Then we'll have ourselves a fabulous new girlfriend to go shopping with," Monica quipped, earning herself a throw pillow to the face from James. "Not helping, Mon," Patty chided, though she couldn't quite suppress her own grin. She pushed herself up into a sitting position, crossing her legs beneath her. "Look, James, we've done our research. This isn't some back-alley voodoo nonsense. It's cutting-edge magical technology. The company has a stellar reputation, and they've run countless trials. The effects are guaranteed to wear off after 24 hours. James nodded slowly, his resolve visibly strengthening. "You're right. I'm just psyching myself out." He leaned forward, reaching for the pill with a hand that trembled ever so slightly. "Well, here goes nothing." "Wait!" Monica exclaimed, causing James to freeze mid-motion. "We need to document this for posterity." She fumbled in her purse, producing her smartphone with a flourish. "Okay, action." James shot her an exasperated look, but couldn't help chuckling. "You're impossible, you know that?" "And yet you love me anyway," Monica retorted, her phone held steady as she filmed. With a deep breath, James picked up the pill and held it up to the light. It glimmered faintly, seeming to pulse with an inner energy. "Bottoms up," he murmured, then popped it into his mouth and swallowed it dry. For a moment, nothing happened. The trio held their collective breath, the tension in the room palpable. Then James gasped, his eyes widening in shock. Oh, wow," he breathed, his voice already taking on a higher pitch. "I can feel it. It's like my whole body is tingling." Monica and Patty watched in fascination as James began to change before their eyes. His form seemed to shimmer and blur, like a mirage in the desert. His shoulders narrowed, his waist cinched in, and his hips flared out. His hair lengthened, lightening from dark brown to a sun-kissed blonde. His facial features softened, cheekbones becoming more pronounced, lips fuller and more lush. As the transformation continued, James's clothes began to strain against his new curves. The t-shirt rode up, exposing a toned midriff, while the jeans hugged newly voluptuous hips and thighs. Most noticeably, his chest swelled outward, straining against the fabric of his shirt. "Holy shit," Patty whispered, her eyes wide as saucers. Monica, still filming, let out a low whistle. "Damn, James. Or should I say, Ivonne, you make one smoking hot woman." The transformation complete, Ivonne blinked rapidly, trying to process the myriad of new sensations flooding her body. She looked down at herself, mouth agape, then slowly raised her gaze to her friends. This is incredible, she breathed, her voice now a sultry contralto. I feel so different, lighter somehow, but also more grounded? Does that make any sense? Patty scrambled to her feet, circling Ivonne with an appraising eye. It's uncanny. If I didn't know better, I'd swear you'd always been a woman. How do you feel? Ivonne stood, wobbling slightly as she adjusted to her new center of gravity. Honestly, a little overwhelmed. Everything feels more. The breeze on my skin, the fabric of my clothes, even the air in my lungs feels different. Monica finally lowered her phone, a wide grin spreading across her face. Well, my dear, I think it's time we got you out of those ill-fitting clothes and into something more appropriate for your new bod. Luckily, we came prepared. She darted to the corner of the room where several shopping bags waited. We weren't sure exactly what size you'd end up, so we got a range of options. Let's see what works. For the next hour, the apartment transformed into a whirlwind of fabric, laughter, and discovery. Ivonne tried on outfit after outfit, marveling at how different clothes felt on her new form. Soft silks whispered against sensitive skin, while figure-hugging dresses accentuated curves she was still getting used to having. I never realized how complicated bras were, Ivonne grumbled, struggling with the clasp of a lacy undergarment. How do you deal with these things every day? Patty snorted, moving to help. Practice, my friend. Lots and lots of practice. And don't even get me started on the joys of underwire. Finally settled on an outfit, a flowy sundress that complemented her new coloring and a pair of low heels. Baby steps, Monica had insisted. Ivonne stood before the full-length mirror, taking in her reflection. The woman staring back at her was undeniably beautiful. Tall and statuesque, with golden hair cascading past her shoulders in gentle waves. Crystal blue eyes framed by long lashes, a pert nose, and full, pouty lips. The sundress hugged her curves in all the right places, hinting at the generous bust and hourglass figure beneath. I can't believe that's me, Ivonne murmured, reaching out to touch the mirror as if to verify the reality of her reflection. Monica appeared behind her, resting her chin on Yvonne's shoulder, a move that required her to stand on tiptoes now. Believe it, sister! You're a total knockout! Patty joined them, a thoughtful expression on her face. So, what's the plan now? Want to take your new look for a test drive? Yvonne bit her lip, a habit that looked far more alluring on her new visage. I don't know, isn't it a bit soon? I'm still getting used to walking without tripping over my own feet. Nonsense, Monica declared, clapping her hands together. There's no time like the present, plus we've only got 24 hours to work with. We need to make the most of it. After some gentle cajoling and a promise from both friends to stick close by, Yvonne found herself stepping out of the apartment building and onto the bustling city street. The late afternoon sun was beginning its descent, casting a warm glow over the urban landscape. The sidewalks teemed with people heading home from work or out for evening plans. Immediately, Yvonne was struck by how different the world felt from her new perspective. Scents seemed more pronounced. The aroma of fresh bread from a nearby bakery, the earthy smell of potted plants outside a flower shop. Sounds, too, felt more intense, from the click of her own heels on the pavement to the cacophony of city life surrounding them. But most noticeable was the way people reacted to her presence. As they walked down the street, Yvonne became acutely aware of the looks directed her way. Appreciative glances from men and some women, lingering gazes that followed her progress down the sidewalk. It was simultaneously flattering and disconcerting. Is it always like this? Yvonne whispered to her friends, feeling a blush creep up her cheeks. Patty nodded sagely. Welcome to life as a woman, honey. You'll get used to it. Sort of. They decided to stop at a nearby cafe, reasoning that Yvonne could use a safe space to continue acclimating to her new body. As they approached the entrance, a man exiting held the door open, his eyes roving appreciatively over Yvonne's figure. After you, beautiful? He said with a wink. Ivonne mumbled a thank you, ducking her head as she passed. Once inside, she rounded on her friends. Okay, that was weird. Do guys always act like that? Monica shrugged. Not always, but often enough. Some are genuinely trying to be polite. Others... She trailed off, her expression darkening slightly. Well, let's just say you learned to differentiate pretty quickly. They settled at a table near the window, Ivonne still hyper-aware of the occasional glances thrown her way. A waiter approached, his smile just a touch too wide as he addressed Ivonne directly. "What can I get for you ladies today?" Ivonne opened her mouth to respond, then faltered, suddenly unsure. What did she like in this new body? Would her tastes have changed along with her physical form? Sensing her friend's hesitation, Patty smoothly intervened. "We'll have 3 iced lattes, please, and maybe a slice of that chocolate cake to share." As the waiter retreated, Ivonne shot Patty a grateful look. "Thanks. I didn't realize ordering coffee could be so complicated." "It's not the coffee that's complicated," Monica mused, her tone light but her eyes serious. "It's navigating the social dynamics that come with your new appearance. You're experiencing firsthand what it's like to be viewed primarily as an object of desire, rather than just a person." Ivonne pondered this as their drinks arrived. She wrapped her hands around the cold glass, marveling at how different it felt against her more delicate fingers. "I guess I never really thought about how much attention women have to deal with on a daily basis. It's a lot." Patty nodded empathetically. "It can be overwhelming at times, but it's not all bad. There's a certain power in it too, once you learn how to harness it." As if to demonstrate, she caught the eye of a handsome man seated at the bar and offered a coy smile. He grinned back, raising his glass in a silent toast. "See?" Patty turned back to Ivonne, looking pleased with herself. "It's all about confidence and knowing your worth." Ivonne attempted to mimic Patty's actions, casting a glance around the cafe. Her eyes landed on a group of young men near the entrance. One of them caught her looking and nudged his friends. Soon all of them were staring openly, whispering and chuckling among themselves. Feeling heat rise to her cheeks, Ivonne quickly averted her gaze. "I don't think I'm cut out for this," she muttered, slouching in her seat in an attempt to make herself smaller. Monica reached across the table, squeezing Yvonne's hand reassuringly. "Hey, don't be so hard on yourself. This is all new to you. It takes time to adjust." Their moment was interrupted by the arrival of the chocolate cake, presented with a flourish by the waiter. "Compliments of the gentleman at the bar," he announced with a wink. Ivonne glanced over to see the man Patty had smiled at raising his glass again, this time accompanied by a few of his friends. She offered a hesitant smile and wave in return, feeling a strange mix of flattery and discomfort. As they dug into the cake, the conversation turned to lighter topics. Monica regaled them with tales of her latest dating mishaps, while Patty shared gossip from her office. Ivonne found herself relaxing, almost forgetting about her transformation as she laughed and joked with her friends. But reality came crashing back as they prepared to leave. Standing up, Ivonne misjudged her new center of gravity and stumbled slightly. She reached out to steady herself on the table, inadvertently knocking over her empty glass. The crash seemed to echo through the cafe, drawing all eyes to their table. Ivonne froze, mortified as she felt the weight of dozens of stares on her. "I'm so sorry," she stammered, bending to pick up the fallen glass. But as she did so, she became acutely aware of how the movement accentuated her cleavage in the sundress. She straightened quickly, face flaming. Monica swooped in, deftly handling the situation with charm and poise. She apologized to the waiter, left a generous tip, and ushered Ivonne out of the cafe with Patty bringing up the rear. Once outside, Ivonne let out a shaky breath. "That was horrible," she groaned, covering her face with her hands. "I felt like everyone was judging me." "Welcome to womanhood," Patty said dryly, "where every little mistake feels like it's being broadcast on a jumbotron." Monica looped her arm through Yvonne's, giving it a comforting squeeze. It wasn't as bad as you think. Trust me, most people were probably too wrapped up in their own lives to notice. As they walked back towards the apartment, Ivonne gradually began to relax again. The setting sun painted the sky in vibrant hues of orange and pink, casting a magical glow over the city. Despite her embarrassment in the cafe, she found herself appreciating the beauty of the moment in a way she never had before. You know, she mused, everything just seems more vivid somehow, like all my senses are dialed up to 11. Patty nodded thoughtfully. That tracks with what I've read about these transformation experiences. It's not just your body that changes, but your entire perception of the world. They paused at a crosswalk, waiting for the light to change. A group of construction workers on the opposite corner let out a series of whistles and catcalls as they noticed Ivonne. "Hey, beautiful, why don't you come over here and brighten up our day?" one of them shouted. Ivonne tensed, unsure how to react. Part of her wanted to shrink away, to become invisible, but another part, a new, unfamiliar part, felt a surge of indignation. Before she could second-guess herself, she turned to face the men. "Why don't you focus on your job instead of harassing women on the street?" she called back, her voice steady and clear. The men fell silent, clearly not expecting such a direct response. Monica and Patty exchanged impressed glances. "Look at you, standing up for yourself," Monica said proudly as they crossed the street. "Seems like you're getting the hang of this faster than you thought." Ivonne smiled, feeling a rush of confidence. "I guess I am. It just felt right, you know?" As they neared the apartment building, the trio decided to make a quick stop at a corner store to pick up some snacks for the evening. Inside, Ivonne found herself fascinated by the array of products that she'd never given a second thought to before. An entire aisle dedicated to feminine hygiene products, shelves upon shelves of makeup and skincare items. "It's like entering a whole new world," she murmured, running her fingers along a display of brightly colored nail polishes. Patty chuckled, tossing a bag of chips into their basket. "Wait until you have to start budgeting for all this stuff. Being a woman is expensive." As they approached the checkout, Ivonne noticed the cashier, a young man probably in his early 20s, straighten up, his eyes fixed on her. She braced herself for another uncomfortable interaction. But to her surprise, when they reached the counter, the cashier addressed her with genuine warmth. "Good evening, miss. Did you find everything you were looking for?" Ivonne blinked, taken aback by the simple, respectful greeting. "Yes, thank you," she replied, offering a small smile. As he rang up their items, the cashier made polite small talk, his manner friendly but not overly familiar. Ivonne found herself relaxing, engaging in the conversation with growing ease. As they left the store, Ivonne turned to her friends. "That was nice. He was just being friendly without any ulterior motives." Monica nodded approvingly. "See, not all interactions are going to be creepy or uncomfortable. There are plenty of decent people out there who will treat you with respect." Back at the apartment, the three friends settled in for a cozy evening. They ordered takeout, painted each other's nails, Ivonne opting for a shimmering blue that matched her eyes, and continued to chat about Yvonne's experiences so far. As the night wore on, Ivonne found herself yawning, the events of the day catching up with her. "I think I'm going to turn in," she announced, stretching languidly. "This has been quite a day." Her friends bid her goodnight, promising to be there in the morning to help her navigate any final challenges before the transformation wore off. Alone in the bedroom, Ivonne stood before the mirror once more, taking in her reflection. She marveled at how quickly she'd grown accustomed to this new form. It still felt strange, yes, but no longer completely alien. As she prepared for bed, she found herself reflecting on the day's experiences. The attention, both wanted and unwanted, the new sensations, the challenges and the triumphs. It had been overwhelming at times, but also exhilarating. Crawling into bed, Ivonne realized that regardless of what form she woke up in tomorrow, she would carry these experiences with her. She had gained a new perspective, a deeper understanding of what it meant to navigate the world as a woman. As sleep began to claim her, Yvonne's last conscious thought was one of gratitude for the opportunity to see the world through different eyes and for the friends who had supported her every step of the way. The gentle rays of morning sunlight filtered through the curtains, gradually rousing Yvonne from her slumber. She blinked slowly, her mind still foggy with sleep, as awareness of her surroundings seeped in. For a moment, she lay perfectly still, taking stock of her body. The first thing she noticed was that the transformation hadn't worn off overnight. She could feel the weight of her chest pressing against the mattress, the cascade of long hair splayed across the pillow. A mix of emotions washed over her. Relief that nothing had gone wrong, a tinge of disappointment that she hadn't magically reverted to her old self, and a flutter of excitement at the prospect of a few more hours in this form. Stretching languidly, Yvonne marveled at how different even this simple action felt in her transformed body. Muscles rippled and shifted in unfamiliar ways, the arch of her back accentuating curves that still felt new and slightly foreign. A soft knock at the door interrupted her musings. "Yvonne, you awake in there?" Monica's voice called out, muffled slightly by the wooden barrier. "Yeah, come in," Yvonne replied, her voice still husky with sleep. The door creaked open, revealing Monica and Patty, both looking far too chipper for the early hour. They were already dressed for the day, Monica in a flowy bohemian-style dress, and Patty in crisp slacks and a tailored blouse. "Rise and shine, sleeping beauty," Monica chirped, flopping onto the bed beside Yvonne. "How are you feeling this morning? Still all woman I see?" Yvonne chuckled, sitting up and running a hand through her tangled blonde locks. "Yep, still rocking the XX chromosomes. It's strange. Part of me expected to wake up back in my old body." Patty perched on the edge of the bed, her expression thoughtful. "Well, they did say it would last 24 hours. We've still got..." She glanced at her watch. "About 6 hours to go before you should change back." 6 hours, Yvonne repeated, a determined glint in her eye. "All right then, let's make the most of it. What's on the agenda for today?" Monica's face lit up with excitement. "Oh, I've got plans. I was thinking we could hit up that new brunch spot downtown, maybe do a bit of shopping. You need to experience the joy and pain of shoe shopping as a woman, and then perhaps a quick stop at the spa for some pampering." Yvonne felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness bubble up inside her. Yesterday had been a whirlwind of new experiences, some thrilling, others uncomfortable, but she was determined to embrace every moment of this unique opportunity. "Sounds perfect," she agreed, swinging her legs over the side of the bed. "Just let me freshen up and get dressed." Thanks for watching. The rest won't be viewable on YouTube, so check out Patreon if you want more.